back to my YouTube channel. My name is Piper Jasmine, and I'm kicking off, if you guys can't tell, my little pre-med medical school advice series for the summer. And so I know that a lot of people are gearing up to apply for medical school this summer, and I thought that I would read you guys my personal statement that not only got me into a couple of different medical schools, it also got me a scholarship into medical school as well. If you guys are interested in learning how to craft a perfect, well, I'm not going to say perfect, but a well-written personal statement for your medical school application, make sure that you keep on watching and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and to subscribe. So let's get into the video. So if you guys are new to my channel, my name is Piper and I'm a rising second year medical student. I applied to medical school my junior year of college, or the summer of going into my senior year of college, and I started medical school right after. And quick funny story, I was completely clueless on how you apply to medical school, and that's why I really like to do these videos and put these videos out there for those who are kind of just in similar situations. And I swear, y'all, like, I'm not naked, I have on a dress. There, I kind of adjusted the angle so I don't look naked. I had no idea how to apply to medical school, and I did not start writing my personal statement until like May. So if you feel that you're a little behind and you didn't take a lot of time to craft your personal statement, don't be afraid. I was in that exact same position, and so after I read my personal statement, I'm going to give you guys some tips and some tricks to perfect it and craft it really well in time for you to apply to medical school. So what exactly is a personal statement? Your personal statement is basically your story. It's what you're telling the application committee about yourself that isn't on your actual application and your AMCAS application. I think your personal statement is a great way to allow those reading it to get to know you more, to get to understand why you're really passionate about medicine, what kind of person you are, what kind of life experiences and trials and tribulations you've gone through to shape you into the person that you're in today. I don't necessarily think that your personal statement has to be sappy and sad. I think it needs to be literally why you're interested in medicine. And I think it's such a complex process in crafting a really well-written personal statement, because there's so many cliche things nowadays. Like, where people ask you why you want to go to medicine, the majority of the people want to say, because I want to help people, because I like people, I want to heal people. Very cliche. I think with the personal statement, you have to look really deep down inside and answer the question, why medicine? And my personal statement, it is a little sappy and a little sad, but I mean, that's just my life story. I've actually never shared my personal statement. I don't even think that so openly like this before. Like, obviously I had to share it for my application and reviews and feedback, but I don't even think my mom has read my personal statement. So I'm a little nervous, but I hope you guys kind of get a sense of who I am and why I chose medicine. We're going to talk about all the things that went into writing my personal statement afterwards. So let's get to reading. I had to find my personal statement. It took me a minute. I can't believe I wrote this like 3 years ago. It's kind of crazy. So here it goes. My 13th birthday was going to be different because my dad had been sick and in the hospital for over 2 months. He was deteriorating so quickly that my mom did not allow me to visit him. I remember spending my entire birthday waiting for his call, but his call never came. On March 29th, 2014, I completed 1 day of finally being 13. I remember feeling a sudden shift in the air as my mom sat me down. My dad went into cardiac arrest and died. My whole world had just shattered. A milestone that so many cannot wait for is a day marked by tragedy for me. The memory of me losing my best friend, yet March 29th is a constant reason for me to pursue medicine, because no one should feel that kind of loss. A few years later in high school, my mom was diagnosed with cervical stenosis and radiculopathy. I probably said that wrong. and could no longer afford our house. I had to move from a place where I had some of the best memories of my life. To add some sunshine to my cloudy skies, I learned that my new high school offered an allied health and medicine pathway. The pathway offered me initial exposure to the healthcare field, challenging and exciting me over 3 years. I learned basic life support and first aid, gaining BLS certification. I was tested over medical terminology each week, improving my communication and understanding of skills like patient charting and notes. It wasn't until we watched the film that depicted the unethical Tuskegee syphilis. I can't talk today, I'm so sorry, this is so embarrassing. Yet it was not until we watched the film that depicted the unethical Tuskegee syphilis study of Everest boys. I realized what what it meant to be the only Black student in the classroom. While my peers were oblivious to the latent impact of the study, I was struck by the mistreatment of minorities. It was the first time that I doubted that medicine fully attempted to heal my dad. There is always a what if that crosses my mind, that perhaps if my dad were not Black, had better insurance, or a lack of criminal status, he could still be here. I'm sure these concerns plague the minds of many, as these factors impact marginalized groups to the greatest extent and the level of care that they may receive. I realized then that I did not have the patience to wait until I was a physician to spread the gospel of closing the gap in health disparities. I felt compelled since to act on my inquiries on health disparities, because while I cannot bring my dad back, I may be able to help someone else's daughter not to feel the same loss that I feel. Differential treatment amongst marginalized groups led to my inquiries about the possible bias of treatment surrounding my father's death. I was eager to explore the factors affecting the health and behavior of individuals, leading me to study health promotion. The College of Public Health has offered me the chance to intertwine my passion for underserved community members with medicine. As a volunteer participant, I help educate people in the community on the COVID-19 vaccine. Many of the patients were minorities, with some expressing their hesitancy towards the vaccine and others relieved for its increased accessibility. It was a unique opportunity to observe medicine and public health from a perspective of marginalized groups, an experience I continue to have while working as a phlebotomist at a plasma donation center. The donor population was primarily low-income minorities who needed the monetary incentives from their donations. As a phlebotomist, I connected and disconnected donors from the apheresis machine, prepared the IV and anticoagulant lines, and more. The commonality in backgrounds and race allowed me to create meaningful relations through my attempts at lessening their worries before sticking them, and reassurance when problems arose. This enlightening experience led me actively promote representation in a clinical setting. Aspirations of becoming a physician further matured in the summer of 2021 when I completed 80 hours of shadowing across rural Georgia. While I was able to observe medicine from multiple physicians' perspectives, I cannot help but recognize the prevalence of chronic diseases disproportionately affecting minorities. There was a revolving door of Black patients to be seen, yet only 1 out of the 7 physicians that I shadowed that summer was Black. The lack of representation could have been discouraging because I knew that some of the conversations held would look different for me. But I decided to use it as fuel for representing minorities in medicine, lessening the racial health gap. Pursuing a career in medicine can allow me to intertwine my interest in the human body with equipping marginalized individuals to take an active role in their health through disease prevention and health promotion. The exposure to clinical shadowing and volunteering has motivated me to continue focusing on underserved communities to help prevent families from minority groups from facing those what-if thoughts of social constructs impacting their quality of care. I hope to provide attentiveness in a way that establishes their trust in me with their or their loved one's health, slowly dismantling the barriers that society has constructed against certain groups. So that's my personal statement. So now we're going to talk about tips and kind of just my whole writing process with my personal statement. So like I said, we can hop into background really quick. I did not start writing my personal statement until May, and it was probably late May because I had no idea that AAMCast opened up May 1st. So I don't feel bad if you're in the similar position, because I just had to lock in, get it down, and I think I submitted my AAMCast around late June, so I kind of took like 4 or 5 weeks to craft it and get it all together before submitting my primary application. So what to write? This is the one I feel like it just stumps everyone, because like I said, to think of your personal statement of how can you set yourself apart. Everyone's gonna say the same thing. I want to help people, I like to be around people, I like all of that won't set you apart. I used to write a lot when I was younger. Like I would be in writing competitions. I think I won like on the county level back in elementary school, and I've always enjoyed writing. I've always enjoyed like the English courses and stuff like that. So I feel like writing for me, it's not that difficult, I will say. I mean, this was difficult, but I think for me, one of the first steps that I do, I don't know, like I think I have ADHD sometimes. I have no idea. My brain is always constantly running with different ideas, different thoughts, and because of that, whenever I need to like write an essay or whatever, in this case my personal statement, I always start off first by like just literally writing everything in my head down. I just open up a Word document and I just like type, and I just write to get all of the stuff that's running in my head out. Like I just throw up words on a document literally, And that just works for me. That's just how I do things. And I definitely know that you can brainstorm. I'm sure there's a couple of different like brainstorming tools online that you guys could find, different like diagrams and like trees to kind of break down your writing. That doesn't work for me, so I can't really give much tips on that. I always start off with just writing how I'm feeling, writing whatever's in my head, and sometimes I have to like leave it like that for a day or two. You don't have to write your personal statement in a day, and honestly, the first draft of your personal statement is probably going to be your worst draft. Travis Scott is tweeting. Wasn't he in jail? I forgot my hotspot was still on. I hope my mom doesn't kill me. Yeah, and I definitely will write down everything, and sometimes I just have a little bit of like writer's block, creativity block, and so what also helps me is just like leaving it on the page for a day or two, go on with life and just start thinking about it more, and I just gradually start building upon it like that. I don't think you'll get like the best draft by sitting down on one day and just writing it. When I watched Miss Everboys, that was probably like 6-7 years ago. And I don't even remember like how I remembered that. I think I was just thinking one day and just like reflecting on all the things that have kind of helped me get to where I was to even be applying to medical school. And my allied health and medicine pathway was a really like critical part because I was introduced to medicine and the healthcare in such a great way through that course. And I just like randomly remembered that moment. And I was like, I could write about this, like that's something I feel like that definitely shaped me and really shaped my journey. Public health introduced me to the barriers that exist in the healthcare system. Whereas like in medicine, like without all of that, you don't recognize the discrepancies and the disparities that certain groups of people face. And I say that because I've been in a position where I've been fortunate and privileged my entire life, where I've never had to face issues in the healthcare system. And my personal statement was an opportunity for me to make that a little bit more clear and to tie in to like my dad and stuff, because as you guys listen from my personal statement, I never got to see my dad in the hospital. I don't know whose doctors were. His doctors were black or white. I'm not saying like all doctors are racist or anything, but there definitely is racial bias in the healthcare system, which is a whole different, story that we could get into another day. And so I was just able to tie that into my personal statement. And I think that sometimes reflecting on different situations in your life where you might have not thought that they've had an impact on you, maybe they have. And so if you're able to reflect on that and kind of build upon that in your personal statement to answer the question, why medicine, I think that's a great way to start with your personal statement. I hope that made sense. So my second step is review the AAMC core competencies. I'm gonna pull it up really quick. The Wi-Fi here, it's not the greatest, so I really hope like my computer just not the greatest here, so let's try my phone. I forgot how I found out about the core competencies. I don't think it was like through my advisor. It was probably on Reddit or something, or maybe I found it myself. Okay, so the AAMC, and I'm gonna like put it up here now, link it down below. This is directly from the AAMC. Title is the Premed competencies for entering medical students. So you guys should get your notepads out because this is very important. Medical students must possess a broad range of competencies to successfully learn and develop in medical school and become effective physicians. The Premed competency models include professional thinking and reasoning and science competencies, and serves as a roadmap for students as they prepare to succeed in medical school. Medical schools will be using these competencies in the 2024-2025 application cycle to evaluate applicants' readiness for medical school. This is very important. The different competencies are cultural awareness, cultural humility, empathy and compassion, ethical responsibility to self and others, interpersonal skills or communication, reliability and dependability, resilience and adaptability, service orientation, teamwork and collaboration. The science competencies include human behavior and living systems. Thinking and reasoning competencies include critical thinking, quantitative reasoning, scientific inquiry, and written communication. So when you're doing your entire application, you want to make sure that you are tying into these core competencies. And I have an entire video on where I went over my AMCAS application. I can do an updated one if you guys want. I think I did it last year. I can do an updated one. Just comment down below. But I really want to tie in these core competencies in your personal statement. And so if we go back to my personal statement, I tied in cultural awareness and cultural humility, mentioning Tuskegee syphilis study, what I've learned about that, how that in public health has taught me about marginalized groups and the disparities that they face. Literally hate, what's going on with this Wi-Fi? Why is it so hard to have decent Wi-Fi? Empathy and compassion, that kind of tied in with when I was educating people on the vaccine. And also my time as a phlebotomist also goes under interpersonal skills. Resilience and adaptability, that was when with my dad's death and, my mom's financial status and health issues that kind of had me moving and whatnot. That was really tough period in my life. So, seeing that, I literally said to add sunshine to my cloudy skies, to kind of paint a picture on how, those situations were hard for me, but I tried to make it better, which you guys do not want to do. You don't want to do this. Trust me. Do not repeat everything that you're saying in your AMCAS application in your personal statement. In my personal statement was new material. I did not mention my allied, and which worked really well for me because honestly, in your primary application, there's no reason for you to be talking about high school. That was too far along, Miss Girl. You shouldn't be mentioning high school in your primary application. It was a great way to mention my high school experience in my personal statement because it still introduced me to medicine and it still shaped me, for the type of physician and the type of care that I want to provide in a healthcare field. So that was a great opportunity to do that. So if you've done something like that in high school or even in the very beginning of your freshman year, because I don't remember, but in your primary application, you get 7 or 10, something like that, in activity sections to add. So anything that you couldn't add in your work and activity sections, put in your personal statement. You do not want to be redundant. It just doesn't make any sense. They're going to read it anyways in your AMCAS application. So don't write what you put in your primary application in your personal statement because you're not telling the admissions committee anything new about you. They already read that, so don't do that. And I also think that kind of helped with my statement is carrying I don't know what to call it, carrying a motto. There's a motto, I don't know if a motto, but the what if, which I thought of literally just typing out because I have always thought about that. If my dad, a white man with the best insurance with Blue Cross Blue Shield, would he still be here? My parents were divorced, so everything was separate. I've had those thoughts and that's why I'm saying just sitting down and writing things out. You can take chunks and pieces and rewrite it, recraft it for your personal statement. And I feel that what if theme kind of carried out throughout my personal statement. And sorry, I have everything on my notes, so that's why I'm looking this way, looking back. Don't be afraid of feedback. Don't be afraid of feedback. And this is such there's a fine line with this, I kind of feel because get to a point where you are constantly asking for feedback. Once you feel your personal statement is good and represents you, then it's good. Theoretically, everything can always get better with time. But once you're satisfied, and you will know when you're satisfied with your personal statement, you will be okay, I think this is good enough. I've gotten enough feedback. I just need to turn it in. You don't want to keep looking at your personal statement and keep revising it, or you're just never going to be satisfied with it. But don't be afraid to get feedback and to reach out for people for feedback. Throughout my process, what really helped me is going to my school's career center, and they specifically have people who look at personal statements and who help you craft it. And so I had a couple of sessions with the people there, just brainstorming and rewriting, going through line by line with my personal statement to revise it. Like I said, I had a lot of revisions. It didn't hurt my feelings. And I respect it and I trust them. I trust them. This is their job. They do it on a yearly basis. This is how they live, by looking at personal statements and helping people with that. So I would definitely recommend reaching out to your school's career readiness, career office center for that. And then I also went to my medical school my Premed advisor. I don't really know if I asked her for feedback because she was low-key a negative Nancy. She wasn't white, she was black. And no, I just felt like I needed to clarify that because I called her Negative Nancy. But told me I wasn't gonna get into medical school, so that's why like I can't really remember if I went to her with my personal statement, because she already had negative vibes and I didn't want her to bring me down with my personal statement. So the last tip that I have for your personal statement is to start early. Like, if you can, like, I understand if you're in a position where I was, but if you can start early, it will take the stress off so much, because it was like I found out so late. I was writing my personal statement, still studying for the MCAT, doing my MCAS application all at the same time, and I would just have to create like designated days to do stuff. Personal statement will definitely take longer than your working activities. I feel like you have to have your personal statement to submit your primary application. Like, you don't need to have your MCAT score to submit your primary application. So I'm saying, like, you need to prioritize your personal statement just a little bit more than some other things. The personal statements are a big deal, so you want to like pour your heart and energy and soul into it. And like I said, once you feel like you've done your best and you've given it at all, then like literally submit it. Don't revise it again. Don't edit it. Don't ask for any more feedback after you got the feedback and revised it. Like, you'll be stuck on it forever and never submit your application. Okay guys, so that is the end of this video. I hope it was helpful, like seeing what my personal statement was and like these tips and tricks. Comment down any questions that you guys have down below, and also like comment down if you guys want me to do an updated working activities this video. And yeah, I leave I just hit my pinky. I leave in literally 10 days, 11 days. I'm so excited. I miss home so much. This is the longest I've been away from my house and from Georgia. Yeah, I leave in like 11-12 days. I'm excited to go home. So my summer internship series will be coming out soon, in July actually. So like next week, the first video will be out. So if you guys want to see what I've been up to, make sure that you turn on the post notification bell so you don't miss those videos, and comment on some questions down below, like concerning some internship, shadowing, research type of questions. I definitely want to do a Q&A about doing research, internships, away rotations, and all of that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.